A transparent web graphic is an image surrounded by transparent pixels, like the one that you see here. The gray and white checkerboard represents transparency in Photoshop. When a graphic like this one is placed on a web page, the page background will show through the transparent areas of the image so that the graphic doesn't appear rectangular. The advantage of using transparent graphics is that they offer visual interest in a web environment that's dominated by rectangularity, in the shape of browser windows, in rectangular page layouts, and in web graphics. But you can make your web graphics look not rectangular by optimizing them with transparency using the techniques I'll show you in this chapter. Take a look at the edges of the graphic in this PSD or Photoshop document file, and you'll see that they look really smooth when you're viewing the image at 100%. I'm going to zoom in for a closer look. And in the Layers panel, I'm going to make this white layer visible temporarily just so you can better see the edges of the graphic. Now you can see that the edges are made up of square stair-stepped pixels. When viewed back at 100%, you couldn't see that stair-stepping. Instead, the edges looked smooth. And the reason is that these edge pixels are filled with varying levels of opacity. In other words, some of the green pixels at the edge are fully opaque. You can't see through them. And others are semi-transparent. And others are even more transparent as you move out toward the edge of the graphic. And by the way, that's what anti-aliasing is, if you've heard that term. It's a gradual fall-off of semi-transparent pixels that makes the edge of a graphic look smooth. Now, a PSD format file like this one allows for this kind of multi-level transparency, and that's why graphics in PSD format look so smooth. But what happens when I convert a PSD source file to a web-ready format like GIF or PNG-8? Well, then the edge won't have semi-transparent pixels because neither GIF nor PNG-8 formats allow multi-level transparency like the PSD format does. To illustrate what I mean, I'm going to go ahead and optimize this as a transparent graphic. I'll make the white layer invisible so that it's not included in the optimized graphic, and then I'll go to the Save for Web and Devices window. In the To Up tab of the Save for Web and Devices window, the original PSD file is over here on the left, and a preview of the image optimized as a GIF is on the right. You can see that GIF is set in the Format menu. Both GIF and PNG-8 support transparency, so I could use either to optimize this graphic, and they work virtually the same way. I won't use JPEG because, as you can see, JPEG doesn't support transparency at all. PNG-24 is another possibility for transparent graphic optimization because the PNG-24 format does support transparency, and like a PSD, PNG-24 would give me varying levels of opacity for a really smooth edge. But PNG-24 isn't always a perfect solution because it makes for relatively large files, and because some legacy browsers, including Internet Explorer 6, don't support transparency in PNG-24 format images. So I'm going to leave the Format menu set to GIF. It's also really important to leave transparency checked, or I won't see transparent pixels at all in the GIF preview, and the image will not optimize with transparency. So I will leave transparency checked. Now I'm going to zoom in so that you can see the edges close up. Take a look at the edges of the GIF, and you can see that they're really jaggedy, particularly as compared to the nice smooth edges of the PSD. The good news is that there's a way around the problem of jaggedy edges on a GIF or a PNG-8, and that's what I'm going to show you in the movies to come in this chapter, where you'll learn how to simulate smooth edge graphics by adding a matte color from this field that matches the web page background that you plan to use. I'll even show you how to make that work against a patterned web page background, and when you're using graphics that have soft effects at the edge like a drop shadow. So stay tuned.